Hello fellow astrophotographers and welcome back to our channel. In the past few years we have been mostly developing custom accessories and gear for the reflector telescopes and some for the Newton reflector telescopes. So it was about time I purchased a new type of telescope that was on my bucket list for quite some time now, an RC astrograph telescope. This type of telescopes are known to have good field correction and hold collimation well in comparison to Newton reflectors, which are really bad at holding collimation in my experience. So a few weeks ago we ordered this 10-inch f6.4 astrograph RC from the Telescope Germany. This was a really exciting chance to learn something new and develop custom solutions and accessories that might also help you if you happen to own this type of a telescope. Now these past few weeks I really enjoyed using the telescope and developing some custom solutions for it, but that's not all. We also tested a new innovative product that will soon come to the market. So without further ado, let's check out unboxing, how we attached everything including field rotator, autofocuser, and how we solved some of the issues that arose during the imaging. The box contained the telescope, two extension tubes and reducer. One thing we noticed is that the items are very well packaged and protected for the transportation. Another good thing about this RC telescope is that it already includes the baffle tube extension in front of the primary mirror. This is necessary in order to prevent unwanted reflections during imaging and flat frame calibration. One thing we had to order separately is AstroZap light shroud. In my opinion, this is a necessary accessory in order to prevent unwanted light leaks and protect the optics better from viewing and dust. The included 0.8 reducer reduces focal length of the telescope to about 1600 mm. It has back focus distance of 55 mm, so there was no problem attaching field rotator between the camera and the corrector, since I am not using filter wheel, and I simply use a single filter between my color camera and the field rotator. Next, we had to figure out how to attach the autofocuser. First I checked which adapter is required, and while it was 3D printing, I took the telescope outside to our observatory and attached it to the mount. Once the telescope was mounted, I roughly balanced it and attached the DC hub splitter and USB hub to the guide scope shoe. After a quick cable management, which was far from perfect, I attached the camera with the field rotator and roughly focused the telescope on a nearby mountain before it got dark, ensuring it's ready for autofocus when imaging begins. Finally, I attached the newly printed adapter and connected autofocuser to the microfocusing knob with a timing belt. The weight of the telescope with all the accessories attached is about 25 kilograms, which is well above the official specification of about 18 kilograms of imaging gear. We also had to add some counterweights, and I had them manufactured from stainless steel, as I grew a bit tired of painting the steel weights due to the corrosion. We can also make a set of stainless steel counterweights for you if you wish. You can check the link in the description of this video. Now, because this tube is heavier than my 10-inch carbon Newton setup, I was a bit skeptical about the mount performance. Firstly, we're working at 1600 millimeters of focal length, which is largest focal length I used so far for the deep sky imaging. And secondly, I was unsure how the mount will be tracking under such big load, even if we are using the encoder. As it got dark, I performed a polar alignment in sharp cap and did a test go-to, which worked fine, as the mount made no concerning noises. Next, I took a quick 60 seconds exposure and was pleasantly surprised when the first frame downloaded with the stars nice and round. Encouraged, I increased the exposure to 2 minutes and the stars still looked great. It seems that the encoder upgraded EQ6R Pro can track such a heavy setup with pretty good accuracy. One more thing that surprised me is how well the telescope holds the collimation. No adjustments were necessary even after the transportation from Germany. After the sequence was running for 2 hours, the histogram started drifting towards left, meaning the image is dimming. Quick check of the all sky camera indicated that the sky was still nice and clear. That could mean only one thing: the optics must be dewing up. The problem was in secondary mirror, which fogged up quite extensively. For the first night, I simply attached one of the flap panel heaters to the front of the secondary mirror, which kept dewing in check. But for the second night, I prepared a custom secondary mirror heater attached to the back of the secondary mirror holder. I did have to reduce the power of the heater a bit, as at first it caused warped stars due to the thermal expansion and contraction of the secondary mirror. During second night, the primary mirror also started dewing up, so for now I attached 2 flap panel heaters, one on each side of the tube, which solved the issue for now. We will probably prepare a dedicated heater that will attach all around the outside of the tube. After initial testing, we had 2 more clear nights before the weather worsened, so we tried to collect as much data as possible. Fog rolled in by the morning, which cut the sessions short, but I was able to gather about 6.5 hours of data with 2-minute exposures. Next up was flat calibration. Since my telescope is in an observatory, I could have used a wall-mounted flat panel, but I wanted to test a new innovative flat panel that's coming to the market soon, the Observatory Flap Panel, or shortly OFP. Without going into too much details, as we'll cover those in a separate video upon release, the basic concept involves sideways motion for opening and closing rather than typical front to back movement. It also includes a compression ring, like standard flap panels. This presented a challenge with the RC telescope truss design, as the front plate isn't round, so we had to attach the flap panel in a different way. After a few tests, we designed a special clamps that sit on the edge of the front plate and feature extensions for attaching compression ring accessories like our flap panels or a collimation mask. We mounted the first 10-inch observatory flap panel prototype to the clamps and shot calibration frames that evening. Now, I'd heard that RCs can be notoriously difficult to calibrate, especially without a baffle tube in front of the primary mirror. However, since our RC came with the baffle tube included, I was optimistic. Sure enough, the panel calibrated all the dust modes on the first try, which meant I could begin post-processing. Now, before we dive into post-processing, I wanted to perform one more test. How would the weight of a 10-inch flap panel affect the front of the RC telescope? I was a bit concerned it might cause star distortions due to the flexure, so when we got a short break in the clouds, I pointed the telescope at Andromeda with the flap panel attached and took a series of 2-minute exposures. The stars looked nice and round with no noticeable deformations, so I feel confident saying that the panel does not affect image quality.
Okay, I think we covered everything. I have put all the relevant links in the description of this video. This might sound strange, but to me, having to solve issues and prepare solutions for the problems that arise during imaging makes the final images even more special. So to finish this video off, let's check out post-process image of the first light with this telescope. Dear League Group and Stephan's Quintet, enjoy! If you have any questions, do not hesitate to comment below, and as always, clear skies!